It's the book of Mark, beginning in chapter 3, beginning at verse 24. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end. I want to start off by giving all praises, all honor, and all glory to call Loyam, La Yahweh, Ba Hashem Yahushai, Ba Hashem Rachakadatham. Double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone who do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akwat and the Akim out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in a land of other nations appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you I say shalom. It's a brother Yahweh up out of the GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant, coming at you with another lesson through the spirit and through the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And basically, I came across this article. I was thinking of something, thinking on the lesson to do, and I searched my news break, and article popped up. Lord willingly, I don't get struck. Fair Use Act. Basically, I'm just reading out an article. Although these devils tend to do whatever the fuck they want, I'm getting copyright strikes, yet still I'm using the Fair Use Act, you know what I mean? So, anyway, this the article. It says out of WEKU, the number of Americans who say they won't get a jump shot hasn't budged in a year. And that's just showing you the division. So, you're seeing the downfall in this place because this place is divided in many of ways. You got people against the whole shot. You got people against the situation with America in Ukraine. You got, the people are against a lot of, different things that's going on. People are feeling some kind of way. People are upset and feeling some kind of way about this inflation. Jay Beasley is out the way. Playing the fuck out of stupid, and I guarantee you that man is far from stupid. He playing like he's senile. I remember. You'd be surprised. A lot of these people. I'm just gonna make this statement. A lot of these people are actors. Especially a lot of those. Those Masonic guys, let's just put it like that. That's why you got a guy like a 50 that can go from a rapper to an actor with no problem. Because a lot of these people are actors in real life. The elder apostle Tahar was going into that president of Ukraine. I was talking about how that guy was an actor. Because most of these politicians are actors. Proof and point when you go into Ronald Reagan. This man was an actor turned president. But, I just read out a little bit of this article. It says Wes Hanston pilots his muddy Subaru through the industrial landscape of southeast Texas, where he grew up, past Bible churches, donut shops, and the silver industrial towers of the refineries. The longtime social worker says he's given up trying to explain to his clients how safe CV-19 vaccines are. I've grown weary of it, he says. I've realized that there's no convincing somebody once they have their mind made up. He pulls up to the neatly trimmed yard of a townhouse where Donna and Danny Downs are waiting for him in their living room. She is a work at home administrator for a fence contractor. He's a retired insurance salesman who is legally blind. They are devout Baptists. This is the first time I read that. So it's spiritual because you got people that call themselves believing in the scriptures, even if they're going off, because they could be Jake, they could be Israelites. Who's to say? I mean, it tells you about the spirit bear of witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. If you subscribe into the truth of the Bible, but the truth comes with the truth, and the only doctrine that pushes the truth is the doctrine of GMS. 100 unadulterated truth. So you got to accept the fact that the Most High God is down with judgment. He's down with slavery. He's down with separation. You got separation right now. Again, it tells you in the scriptures. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get some in the book of what is that? Book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 51. says, suppose ye that I come to give peace on earth. I tell you nay, but rather division. So if it's red letter, that's meaning it's the Messiah, Yahweh Shak, Hamashiach, our big brother, who you people ignorantly call Jesus Christ, who's speaking. It says, for from henceforth there shall be 5 in one house divided, 3 against 2 and 2 against 3. So he said, you believe we're coming to bring peace, but I'm coming to bring division. He's starting controversy. You know, you have that's what it talks about in the scriptures. A man's foes will be of their own household. It says, the father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, the mother against the daughter, and the daughter against the mother. The mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and the mother-in-law against her mother-in-law. Salakia. The mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. So you're gonna have division because you're gonna have certain beliefs. You're gonna have people that brothers in the truth have already experienced it. You have brothers that literally their households been again. Make me think of one little young brother in the camp. He was going through something that was just a testimony to his faith. He would have to go through basically getting in trouble trying to come down there to hear the truth, and still to this day, his people buck up to it to a degree. With all this truth being put in your face, with all this going on, because at the end of the day. And I know it's spiritual. That's why a person can go and be getting it and then, they be blinded. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, how the elder apostle Tahar and the elder apostles was going on Sinetta. They say he's a nigga anyway. I don't know the man. More than likely, I trust the judgment of the elder apostles. Them learned men that have been in the world, have experienced things. So I trust that judgment. That's why they can sit up there and say certain things about certain individuals and it come to pass. Saying all that to say this, they say how it took all them years for him to get it, for him to be blinded by, the truth again. You know what I mean? So, you got people, a lot of our people especially, they want to play the fence. And you can't play the fence on this thing. You got to pick a side. That's why it talks about I'd rather you be not either hot or cold, not lukewarm. You can't play both. You can't play the middle, Using that as an analogy because you got a lot of people, like I said, you got people that won't stand for anything. Because, especially a lot of our people, they're trying to get along, go along and get along. It shows you how spiritual it is because I was always talking about that 2/3. Well, not always, but I have been making mention of the 2/3 guy that was at my job, 2/3 Jake up there keep on talking about selling drugs, although you want Fed papers and, just nigga want stuff but don't want to work for it. So, he ain't gonna put no energy into the truth, but it was on my spirit to kind of give him the truth. I was gonna give him the name of the elder's page, or I was gonna give him my page. I've learned to try to be more careful because, I've given the guy the truth at a job, and basically he put me in a situation with these Edomites, and although through the spirit I kept the job, it made it kind of, difficult in there. But saying all that to say this, he ended up losing the job. Lord allowed him to move to a different shift, and he think he gonna get away with something. And what he was getting away with on our shift, he couldn't get away with it on that first shift. There's a guy that's used to running the street, so I tried to pull his coat and saying, well, you talking about going to the first shift, but you do know usually all the bosses are on the first shift. And Lord and behold, even on the first shift for 2 days and already fired. So Lord code, separated him from the job. But saying all that to say this, that's showing you that the Most High God is separating. Back into the article, it says, we don't like vaccines because we feel like if we live healthy, we have more immunity. And, that's a basic concept, then that's their right to have that, like I say, it's natural immunity has already been proven that beats this vaccine. The brother from Karatazar, I believe his name is, the elder brother from Vegas, he was going into that. He brought out some information saying that basically the rate of success for that, that jab and stab was been like 12%. And basically it's been more complications than success. You got to understand, people don't even realize that basically you're a walking experiment. What Bill Gates, corny ass, say? He said, well, it takes 2 years for a side effect to be shown, so you got to wait 2 years. He said it just so nonchalantly. Fucking devil. It says we have more immunity. She says if we get it, we feel like that's Yahweh's will. You know what? And that's the spirit. She said if we get this, that show you how it's the Lord's will for us to get it. And so we just leave it in his hands. The virus killed Donna's sister and sent her husband to the hospital where they remain opposed to getting their shot. And that's just the spirit. We just think it's a big government thing where they're trying to control the public, Danny said. About 66%, Salaki, I got excited. About 66%, about 66% of Americans are fully vaccinated, but as the United States approaches a million deaths from CV-19, the virus mortality rate is being driven mainly by people who are not vaccinated. And see how they're trying to control the narrative? Now they're trying to say people that's dying is those that didn't get vaccinated. But it's been people that actually had motorcycle accidents that died, that they said died from the... And then you cannot even trust these numbers. I remember last year I had got caught up in some goofy shit dealing with my demon. And long story short, I was incarcerated. And I remember them talking about the numbers was a certain, like, certain point. You know, like, I swear I remember them talking about because of the fact that, you know, herd immunity had to be like 70%, I think. Well, if you got 66% of people vaccinated, why is it they pushing for everybody to get vaccinated? Because it's not necessarily about, you know, eventually, put it like this. It's going to be an issue for you not to have taken this sauce. Best believe it. Mark our words, you know, because the brothers have already been bringing this out. And you, through the spirit, like, everything is revolving around it. You know, I was talking to this female at the laundromat, this older Jake woman, and, you know, showing you how fickle a woman is. She was asking me about dogs. She was like, she bought a pit bull from a guy, and the guy was keeping the pit bulls along with his other dogs. So he was breeding them, but not breeding them correctly. I guess he running the streets. So they was always fighting. So I'm like, well, basically, that's not good if you ain't had a chance to actually bond with the dog and all he doing is selling them and they fighting where he's off and running the streets and they ain't feeding them, so they constantly fighting. You know, that dog be even liable to turn on you. So she paid down on the money. And I'm like, either chalk it, she put money on it to get the dog. She hadn't fully paid him. And I'm like, you might as well chalk it or try to get your money back. And after saying all this, she's still talking about getting the damn dog. Now, mind you, she ain't got nobody to really help her take care of the dog, and she up in age. Showing you how fickle a woman is, but like I say, she had made a statement because, you know, I had tried to give her the truth. And I gave her some information, and then she started bucking up. You know, I gave her the elders page because I'm a younger Jake, and when I come to older, well, I ain't that much younger, but when I come to older people like my elders, you know, most elders don't really want to hear what a younger person says, you know, unless, you know, you real charismatic. And I don't think I'm that charismatic. But saying all that to say this, literally, well, Salakia, because my bus coming. I'm gonna stop this and restart it, Lord willingly.